Joined now by former Mountaineer Jedd Gyorko as he gets set to begin spring training later this week. Going to make the trip out for spring training. And Jedd, glad to have you back in here. How are you?
Doing well. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we'll talk about, just get us up to date here. When are you leaving? What are the plans? And when do things really get kicked into gear for you?
I head out Friday. I'm going to fly out to San Diego and do their fan fest that they have before the season starts every year, and then I'm going to be heading down to spring training to get things started.
Coming out of the year that you had last year, kind of looking back on that, how do you feel about your numbers coming out from AAA?
I'm happy with how the year went. It started off slow, and to be able to pick it up at the end of the year like I did was definitely give me a boost going into this year.
Okay, when you look back to last year, had a very good year. Looking forward, what are your expectations for spring training?
I have high expectations on myself to go out and perform well and try to make the team out of spring. That's my goal to get to the big leagues, and hopefully I can perform well and make that club.
Now, a lot of people had you playing third base. That's where you played a lot, when you first started in the minors. Padres just came to an arbitration agreement with Chase Headley, finished fifth in the MVP voting. Probably not going to be at third base this year. Do they have you working at second? Is that where you're going to spring training, hoping to maybe win that second base job?
Yeah, I've worked all spring at second base, and from what I've heard and have been hearing, that's where I'm going to be going at spring training and playing mostly second base, maybe an inning or two here at third and there, but mostly second base. It's a guy like Chase Headley, obviously he finished fifth in the MVP, so that's a guy you want on your team. So hopefully we can coexist.
I'll go back to the end of last year. I know when we had you on before spring training last year, you said that your goal was to make the big leagues that year, and it was thought that you might get the call up at the end of last year. What did they tell you? Did they tell you anything, or was it a surprise that maybe you didn't get the call up?
It was a little bit of a surprise. I was hoping to get that call, but I talked to Josh Burns, the general manager of the Padres, after the season. He said that they had some 40-man issues and stuff like that, which, it doesn't make it any easier what he said to take in, but at the same time you understand what their thinking was behind it.
And you had a taste of spring training last year, so you kind of got that under your belt. Now, does that help you going into this year, experience-wise?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not going in there trying to make friends with all the guys and trying to introduce myself. They'll all know who I am. I just can kind of go out there and just try to perform well and work on my game.
Now, a lot of people will ask me specifically, and obviously I can't answer. I'm not living it. What is the difference between maybe even the Major League spring training as opposed to AAA, or even the difference from AAA to AA?
The speed of the game is always probably the main difference between the two levels. Every level you go up, the speed of the game is going to be faster, so you got to make that slight adjustment each step as you go along. And when you go into big league spring training, you're playing against guys that are in the big leagues all the time. When you go to AA, AAA, there's a reason why some of those guys are in AA, AAA. They maybe not quite ready, or the opportunity is not quite ready for them to get there. So you're playing with guys that are proven big leaguers and are having long, good careers.
Off the top of your head here, kind of putting you on the spot, can you think of a pitcher who was maybe the toughest pitcher you've been against in the minor leagues, or maybe even in spring training from last year?
You kind of put me on the spot. I'm not really sure who that would be. We faced when I was in AA, we faced Joe Wheeland, and he's oddly enough, he's on the Padres now. He hit us in AA, which we didn't like that very much. But the game that he hit us with, he got traded to us the next day. So
that works.
We gave him
can't beat him, join him.
It was a couple of dirty looks that we gave him when he came into our clubhouse. But he's a tough guy to face.
Have you had a chance, or anything specifically you're working on, or been working on this past off season to try and improve heading into this year?
Pretty much just working at second base. It's going to be a new position. I've played there in the past, but it's something that I got to get used to, and looking forward to playing full time.
Obviously, the goal was to get to the major leagues. Maybe looking back on that, even a couple weeks ago, MLB Network did their top 50 prospects. Speaking minors is not where you want to be for a career, but you did crack the list at number 50. How did that feel to see your highlights on the MLB Network and have some people talking about you like that?
It's obviously an honor, but at the same time, like you said, you don't really want to be a prospect anymore. You want to be a guy that's in the big leagues and is trying to get his career started. But, it's definitely an honor to see that those people are recognizing the performance that I put out on the field. Now,
before we continue, what's this dynamic like, looking across here with your brother? I imagine that's not something that you practiced growing up. An interview, just sitting around.
It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. I think it's the neatest thing in the world to be able to, kind of ask him questions that we can talk about, at the dinner table sometime, that a lot of people will come and, and they'll ask me. and it'll be really hard for me to say, be like, I'm not inside his head. We're obviously very different people. We approach things differently. It's really hard for me to give that answer. So it's kind of nice to be able to have him verbalize how it feels with that kind of stuff, as opposed to having me just basically make it up.
Yeah. Now you've been in town now for a while. Have you had a chance to meet Coach Mazey with West Virginia?
Yeah, I've spoken to him a few times. I'm looking forward to actually seeing him tonight at the banquet that they're having. So it should be a lot of fun. And I think he's got the program headed in the right direction. I'm definitely anxious to see how it works out for him.
All right, good deal, man. We'll let you go here. Appreciate you stopping in, and we'll keep following you, and hopefully we'll catch back up down the road here.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.